love the film.
Great.
Particularly last night's screening was just really enjoyable. One of the things that I found with it was there were so many sort of 70s references, and right at the start of that title montage as well, just one after the other. When you make a film like that it's so specific to one era, particularly, with the younger generations trying to go and see it, how do you ensure that those younger generations still get something from it?
We were really pure on this one. It was really simple. How do you do a film like this? It was really simple. Did it exist? And did it happen? And these are the years of the 70s between there and there. If it existed, it's going in. And that was right across the board to every department. Bring it on. Even I was compiling a list. And I just said, for the first time in my career, I just wanted to be 100% pure.
Yeah.
Because once you hand it over, specifically once the Americans get involved, they don't understand, they don't get it, and then you start pulling the script apart to keep the Americans happy. And this time just sort of bugger the Americans, and actually don't really care. We're being pure to our generation of what that was, and I'm not going to compromise. So that's what it is. And a lot of people said it's an assault, there's so much information. Well, good. I know how to have made a more tamer film, and I haven't made a tame film. It's just like it's an information explosion. And yeah, I've had a major critic tell me it's faster than any film they've seen in 10 years.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Too fast for you?
Not too fast.
Right.
And particularly, given that I wasn't alive in the 70s, so given that, I was able to pick up on it, I think that's a good sign that it wasn't too fast.
It's okay, it's a good sign.
Had
one kid online today, he was at a Melbourne screening and he's put his little review out, and he's a YouTuber, and he spun around and said it was the first 10 minutes was just too fast for me.
All right.
Whilst he's on his phone like this during the screening, I was watching him like this on his phone. He was saying it's too fast. And I was like, you're the generation that created this speed.
Yeah, because I thought, for me at least, it encouraged sort of active watching. Like if I'm in a normal cinema and it's slow, you get out your phone and watch it, whereas this is so kinetic.
If you take your eyes off it for 5 minutes, you'll miss something. So, and that was quite deliberate, because I get really angry in movies now when their little faces light up. I spin around and look, and there's this wall. And in Los Angeles now, they've actually made the last 5 rows of all cinemas phone zones.
Oh, really?
And it's quite fun to actually go down the front and you look up and there's this sea of little faces in the gallery, and they're all on their phones. They've paid to go to the movies and they're all sitting there going like that. What's the point?
Yeah.
Go to a movie and read your phone. So, it's a funny old world.
And you obviously wrote this one as well.
I did.
How much input did you have from sort of the real life inspirations?
It's pretty honest.
But in terms of, those old friends, I mean, I know last night you mentioned that were they at the Sydney premiere? Or
I found the Death Cheaters, my stunt gang. I've tracked them down and I got them to the Sydney premiere, and they were actually a little bit shocked that I didn't show the really bad stuff.
Okay.
And we actually had to pull quite, because it was pretty bad. I mean, 14-year-old boys with a camera and a couple of cans of petrol and matches, it's never going to end well. And it didn't end well many times. And so I had to pull back, because there were some things I still don't want my parents to know.
They particularly that scene with the where you light the young man on fire, which you said last night you had done quite a few times.
About 14 times with the big burns. It was pretty stunty back then.
A lot of people around me in the cinema had sort of hands over the mouth, quite shocked.
I lost my temper in 1 or 2 of the test screenings, because the audience kept saying, it's shocking, children on fire. I was like, hang on, I'm standing here, I'm going to put my hand in there. I did this about 14, 15 times, and we lost an eyebrow occasionally, and a bit of hair went, and but we did it, and we got through it. So I could see people in the modern era thinking about the safety measures, but that is pretty much what the film was about.
Yeah.
It's about a time before safety measures, before there was politics to be incorrect about or correct about. I mean, it was a free-range child rearing, when the kids could do whatever they wanted and the parents were usually too drunk to notice that it was happening.
So you mentioned before that you felt like most of it in there is real.
Yeah.
I was interested in the relationship between 2 young leads, and particularly Melly. Was that a real relationship that you...
Yeah, that's my costume designer, Lizzie Gardner, who did the costumes for the film. That's Lizzie and I. That's us growing up.
That was going to be my question.
There you
Where'd
go.
you turn out?
It's
What happened?
well, there we are. We're still going.
Still going.
We're still fighting and arguing. We still work together, and we fight like cat and dog. And that relationship on screen between the two kids is very real.
Yeah.
It's a very good story. Everything else began to grow after that its own kind of legs, and specifically with the grown-up actors, they really. I had base characters that I had a rough idea who they were, and then each actor then brought their own family to the table, and it was the perfect piece of direction. Play your parents. Just play your parents, and it was gold at that moment. You could see the little eyes go ding, and then slowly the adults became. Everyone got to play their parents, and at that point, then it took its own legs, and I just let them run with their own childhoods grown up, and it was all of them halfway through the film would spin around saying, "I'm never going to get through this alive. My parents are going to kill me." And I said, "Bring it on."
Yeah, because it's a huge, particularly in the adult, with the adult cast, it's a huge ensemble cast.
Yeah.
Was that a challenge to direct? I mean, there's so many well-formed characters.
Well, I'll tell you something I haven't told anybody. Draft 1 of the script, there were 5 families.
Really?
And it was Guy Pearce who read it, and Guy said, "I can't keep up. There's just too many people." So there wasn't just, we've got 3 families now. There were 5, and that includes kids. It was a third bigger than it is now, even almost a half bigger than it is now. And it was a guy who said, it's too much. I'm drowning. I'm just trying to get through the pages. There's too much information. So I did a cull at that point, and even now I'm down to 3 families, also with a combined 27 kids, and already it's pretty dense. I just wonder what that 5-family film would look like.
These other 2 families that you mentioned, if you did go with 5, what sort of sphere were they inhabited?
I know because I was borrowing off the cul-de-sac I grew up in. I know exactly who they are, and that was actually really easy. And that was the beauty of the whole film. I did know exactly where I am.
Yeah.
And usually with actors, a lot of the time you gotta. They say, "Where am I coming from? What am I doing?" And as a director's job, you have to lie a lot of the time and tell them stories. But in this instance, I didn't have to lie. I just said, "Okay, this is why, and this is who, and this," because they're all in my head. So yeah, I just called a couple of families. Don't you worry. But in the end, what we got it down to was a really good balance of. It's a class story now. You've got the struggling family, you've got the middle class family, and you've got the rich family. Yeah. The rich family with colour television. Wow, they're rich, they had colour TV. So it's I think your parents might be able to figure themselves out somewhere in there.
And there were a lot of great visual and sort of physical aspects that were reminiscent of the 70s. The props and the settings and the costumes. And because it was so jam-packed, did you find it difficult sourcing that old stuff?
We tried sourcing. There was a lot, and as I said, it only took me 3 weeks to write the script, but it took me 40 years to think about it. So that wish list of 40 years, it was a long time, and it was a big list. Every memory I'd ever had from childhood was just compiled, and it went on for pages and pages and pages. My God, if we ever want to make a television series out of this, we've got the material. It's all gone. I mean, that was the biggest shock when we started about, all those props, all those costumes, It was a dreadful decade. Everyone threw everything out. And even the KTEL products, none of it worked. Everything broke, within 5 seconds. So, we had to start this monumental task of sourcing where we could and then having to build, and we built and we built and we built, and it was an extraordinary team effort to get it across the line in such a small period of time.
Yeah. And you mentioned Lizzie. How much input did she also have in the script? She lived those experiences with you.
It's just she and I. That's that character. She had some opinions in there, and her turtle was Tommy, and Tommy's was absolutely real. Tommy the turtle, who's a big star in the film. Tommy's still going. That was very much Lizzie's turtle. So for her character, I let her have say in that, but outside of that, I didn't for the rest of the script. So I took her input in on her, and then told her to shut up when I didn't agree, and she'd tell me to shut up, and then we'd have a fight, and then we'd laugh at each other. That's what you got when you got relationships that are 50 years old.
Mm. And such a beautiful young cast, and just did such a great job, particularly, your lead. Do you think, the ability for him to draw on you as a resource?
It was, where else to get that opportunity? He, you know, a young actor, and again, I didn't have to make anything up. He'd get into trouble, and I'd just say, talk to me.
Yeah. Okay.
Ask me a question. Any question you got, I can answer, because you're playing an extension, and that was a gift. I'd never had to do that before. Every now and then he'd hit me with a cracker, and I'd have to think about it and go, okay, well, this is what happened. And it was kind of cool. And there's one or two dangerous scenes in the film, which was when he was doing those scenes, and there's one with both those kids, which was very confronting to relive it as an adult.
That was the bedroom scene.
The bedroom scene. It was really, really, really... They were fine. They were acting. But I realised the director was having a bit of a meltdown off camera because it got really close to the bone, and I found myself quite confronted shooting it, which is good. That hasn't happened in a very long time. Probably hasn't happened ever, where you find yourself completely confronted by your own creation, and your own creation is yourself. So yeah, demons. Closet doors were opened.
And because you were saying that you left at that point, didn't you? In that scene.
Oh yeah, the bedroom scene, I did have a little bit of a meltdown. I actually had to walk out, and I came back. I just had to walk out, but I did walk out and say, I need to get my shit together now. And Brad Shield, the cinematographer, kind of stepped in and became the voice at that point until I could get my stuff together, and then I let the kids go, and then it's okay. I came back, but it was great. It was a really good feeling.
Really good.
For confronting in a way, you went home awake that night. Oh boy, was I awake! I didn't sleep that night.
Yeah, it would have been interesting as a young actor as well, seeing that. I think.
Yeah,
seeing
the director.
The
seeing the director struggling with it would have been, So I hope that struggle came out with him too, because it is awkward. It is painful, and I think he got it. You tell me.
I absolutely thought that was an affecting scene. Probably my favourite scene in the film, though, was, when they're all walking to school and they're all wearing the ice cream buckets on their heads and the Magpies Attack. That, to me, was just... I laughed out loud. That was hilarious.
What Australian hasn't been attacked by a magpie or a plover? I mean, that is a rite of passage for almost everybody. You go online now, there's websites called Magpie Attack, and people now actually... They're really funny. People have actually filmed themselves being attacked by magpies. People in tears. And, I actually sent... I auditioned a kid with that. He hadn't even read the script, and he said, I'm going to show you something really funny. And he made his mother go into the garden and for a magpie attack, and it was a complete setup.
Oh, really?
And the magpie lived in the house, and I'm looking at this kid, modern-age kid, making his mother cry, but by sending her out for the wrong reason at the wrong time. And it was just genius. So it's still there. That one's alive and well in most generations, I think.
And I mean, magpies obviously something that's, really close to home as Australians, and there's so much Australiana in this, and you've spoken about that just earlier. How do you expect overseas audiences to react to this? Have you been, has it showed overseas?
No, this is it. The whole world is looking at this Thursday night.
Okay.
It's as simple as that. If we do good box office here, they'll be okay with it. That's when we have a life. But I've been really honest on that one. I don't care. I've actually made a film for the home team, about the home team, for a generation of the home team, and we've just remained pure, and I've never done that before ever. I've absolutely remained pure. So I've just got to know that we've made a good film, and if they don't get them, then they can go see another film. I mean, seriously, that's the best we can do. Yeah. Back to the old days of Harvey Weinstein, who would buy your film off you, recut it, and then redub it with Americans. That has happened. That happened with The Castle.
Really?
Yeah, it's happened throughout time. And this one, it's not going to happen. Not going to happen. It is what it is.
Yeah. That's good.
And I'm very proud of it. It is what it is. And I won't apologise, and I take full responsibility for it. And if it bombs, it's entirely on my head.
On record.
On record, yeah. My fault.
And just the last one that I wanted to ask was, your sister in this film, is she still speaking to you after, has she seen the film? Is she speaking to you after your portrayal of her in the film?
That was actually somebody else's sister.
That was someone else's sister?
That I borrowed it off, yeah.
Okay.
I did borrow someone else's sister. My sister wasn't quite there. She wasn't quite up to scratch, so I stole one of the neighbours' kids for the sisters for that one. So she got off fine. I was a bit disappointed and said, why wasn't I in it? I said, well, you were a bit boring.